Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We do apologize for the late start. Our topic today is welcome to Soul Café. And Kanisha, welcome and thank you for joining us. Our topic today is Christ consciousness and accepting our divinity. And I think it's a good topic to start us off with from the perspective of, I think it's embodied in quite a few, and if not all, of Jeff and Shaleia's teachings, in all of the Twin Flames Universe teachings, in the Church of Unionism teachings. And I think it's a healthy way of kind of healing the separation of ourselves from our divinity, and thus accepting the level of Christ consciousness that we as well have, that we sometimes seem to forget. So I'm Granville Campbell. I have been part of Twin Flames Universe for 3 years now. I'm in the Go Live lead role. So yeah, thank you for joining me, Kanisha, and we're just waiting Renata, and then we'll carry on. You'd like to introduce yourself in the meantime?
Absolutely. I am Kanisha Castillo, and I've been part of this community for about 3 years as well. And I'm kind of sporadically throughout the community, so you'll just see me wherever you see me. But yeah, I'm excited to be a part of this. And I did just want to ask real quick as if we're recording, just because I see that it's live, but I don't see the recording. So I just want to check real quick before we
Don't worry, I'll download the live video from the actual live stream.
Awesome. And then I think he joined us.
Hi guys.
I was like, I think he's here.
Yeah, we are live.
Okay. Perfect.
Yes, you'd like to just go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we carry on from there?
Yeah, of course, yeah. My name is Renato. Hi everyone, I hope you are okay. Today we are going to talk about the Christ consciousness and accepting our divinity. Who would you like to start?
So I did a little bit of an intro already around the teachings of Jeff and Shaleia and Twin Flames Universe, and also the Church of Unionism. And I think it's a perfect topic in terms of what it means to be a unionist, and also how it brings us back home to ourselves and helps us lead, kind of walk our brothers home while walking ourselves home. So in a sense, our full Christ consciousness and the divinity that we share with each other and that we have in common with each other. I think the topic is probably quite expansive. So don't worry about not saying something that fits or doesn't fit. Let's just flow with the conversation.
Perfect. Well, the first card for this conversation is perfect. It's self-love.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I think it says you realize that love of self is necessary to love another. And so you're mentioning being able to bring our brother and sisters, help them walk back home, and really embodying Christ consciousness, meaning understanding the God within you, understanding that you're never without God. And that's where I feel like a lot of the times we feel a lot of anger or sadness or anything that's a low vibration is when we choose to not see our divinity clearly and choose not to see that we were created with God within us. And so that we always hold that Christ consciousness. And that we're always presented with a new opportunity to expand in that consciousness and to share that consciousness with the world. But that really starts with loving yourself completely and fully and taking full responsibility of everything that's going on within yourself. So yeah, that's how I feel about that at the moment.
I love this card.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I think you touched on a very important point, is that we always have God with us and within us. And we sometimes miss it, and we show up in the world looking for the thing that's already there, looking for the love that's already there. And so sometimes in trying to find that love outside of ourselves, we drink from the cups that we shouldn't be drinking from, right?
Yes. That's very true.
And it reminds me of a quote that says, don't be so thirsty that you drink from every cup presented to you. That's how you get poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is kind of the sense I have of when we look for our divinity outside of ourselves, because we're looking for something or someone to fill us up, getting that we're full already.
Amen. Yeah,
And
you're
that
complete
as
already.
we're as full as we are, that's where we start pouring from.
That is true.
Yeah, and we always talk about religions, and when I was younger, I was looking for religions, I was looking for answers outside of myself, but never about self-love. Because people, I grew up in a church when I was a child, and they never taught me about self-love. They never touch about you find God within yourself. And when they talk about Christ, it's always like in a way of control your behaviors. I never felt loved, in religion. And I'm still hearing this upset. And this card is so beautiful about self-love, because Christ represents love. Christ's love, God is love, and we are here to love ourselves and shine our light.
Yeah, I felt like as you were kind of going in there was like this almost like this fear that like your individuality was not cannot be received just by being who you are. Like you have to follow whatever the religion says, or you have to do, like I know growing up I was taught like you had to fear God. Like that's what I was taught, like you don't get to go into heaven unless you fear God, or you have to do everything out of fear instead of everything out of love. And really claiming just like who you are as an individual and allowing your expression of love to come out in ways that feel good to you. And really allowing yourself to just be who you are, because that's how great God created you. God's going to work through you perfectly in the way that he created you for this world. And I think sometimes people really shy away from that because they feel like they're not going to be accepted as their full self. And that's really where that self-love comes in, is really being able to fully accept yourself and really love yourself to where it really doesn't matter what other people think. And being able to just go where God asks you to without the hesitation of what others think of you, and really loving yourself in that way. I feel like that's how we move through our blocks and anything that comes up so much faster, is by really just loving and accepting ourselves in that moment where God's shining light on whatever upset we're working through.
And loving ourselves is accepting our divinity, is basically our topic of today. Because we are divine, because we have God within ourselves. So we don't need to seek for God or the divine outside of ourselves, because we already are divine. We are not God, but we are divine because we are children of God. And God is love. And if God is within ourselves, we are love too. We are not separated from love. And this is a big, big lesson that I have been learning for a while, that, in this twin flame journey, that I already have this love. This love is not outside of me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think that the journey of self-acceptance, as you know, it sometimes just feels huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels huge because we internalize so many unnecessary lessons because we've been taught a certain way or a certain thing. Like, one of the things I remember, like, I was a Sunday school teacher. And one of my purposes at the time was to teach kids about the parables in the Bible. And, you know, it was always the loving thing that came through. Jesus loved even the person that was being stoned,
Yep.
you know, and you know, and it kind of takes you back and like, the line I remember is, "Let he who is blameless cast the first stone." I was like, how powerful is that? Because if you take it at its face value, you kind of just need to step back and go, I may not understand or appreciate your behavior or your thought process, but you are also divine in your own right. You're a child of God. And, you know, the lesson is just that we, as Renata said, we are not God, but we are formed in the image of God. And so even all of us in our different forms cannot be anything other than divine.
Amen.
Yeah. And something just came up right up for me. It was Christ was always walking with the sinners because God doesn't see us like how we look on the outside. He sees you how as you truly are. And those people, like, there was a lot of hypocrisy in the society, like we see nowadays as well. And in this community here, we are learning this. We are learning how to love people of how they truly are, because we are learning the same about ourselves. And if we love ourselves for how we truly are, and we love other people naturally, because we cannot fully love yourself and hate other people or judge other people, because you are surrendering to love itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of unconditional love, is there's no conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I love myself unconditionally, and I love you, Granville, and I love you, Kanisha. It's the energy, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that I love you but thing. Oh my goodness, how tiring that is, right? Because now you set the
Yes.
condition and then you have to ensure that the condition is maintained, like a little checklist. And it's like, who are you exhausting at this point?
Yeah, like you are too tall. You don't think the same way as I think, or no, you are not so beautiful. Or oh no, you have this problem, so I don't
Yeah, it's
like you at
that
all.
energy of control again, energy
Yeah.
of like feeling like everything needs to be controlled instead of allowing God to just lead us and lead through us. That's been a big lesson for me to learn, is the difference between leading and controlling in life. But when you're aligned with God and your divinity, it always feels good. And when you're not, there's always like this hesitancy or this feeling like, is this right? This doesn't feel good. And once you hit that, that's when you choose to go within. I love, because the next card is trust. You have a strong connection to your soul's loving voice and have faith in your intuition. And that's really just understanding that you have God and Christ consciousness within you. And so when you have those moments of uncertainty or feeling bad, that's when you have to go in and trust that intuition and that voice of God within you, and connect with yourself there and really love yourself in that place. And the solution or the answers will always come to the surface, because that's what God does for us. When we go to God, God always gives us the answers that we desire. And even when we don't go to God, he always he always provides and takes care of
Yes.
us. But it's a little bit easier and faster if we just go straight to God. Like,
Yeah.
just go within.
Like, I've got something for you, my child. You just need to pay attention.
Yes, like that's something I've been really grounding, is just not forgetting how truly powerful I am. Like, I don't know why it just goes out the window, but it's like you kind of just stand there and you're like, what do I do? And God's like, I made you so powerful, go within. And like, you have everything you need.
And I
Like, oh.
just need to remind us about that sermon that Granville made 2 weeks ago about the power. And the power is not about control. You have your power when you surrender to your peace, the peace you never lost. So when you love yourself and you have, of course, you always have your peace. It's an illusion that you don't, like you lost your peace. So you love yourself and you feel peaceful, you get your power back. That's wonderful, because in the past I was thinking that power is controlling, like, oh, I am powerful, so I can control people, so I can control my life, I can control my situation. So no, it just brings anxiety, not power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is true that the core of our power is our peace, and our peace is just fully centered in our divinity. It's the divine part of us that
Never leaves.
it's kind of been beaten out of us in certain instances. And so when you start to relearn it, it's just the most amazing feeling. Like, why didn't I learn this sooner in my life?
Yeah, really having to have compassion there for yourself too, because it's like God's timing is perfect. I know, like, Shaleia touches on, like, not really, like, it's not really divine timing, it's divine order. Everything happens in divine order. And just really being compassionate and patient with the journey, and understanding that, like, we got to this place where we are individually in perfect timing. Like, God was just doing what he was needing to do within us, and just really being compassionate with the fact that we now have this opportunity and we now have this gift. And we called it in. Not everyone has this gift, and this gift is very bright, and a lot of people will choose to, like, shy away from it, because this it's just a lot. It's just a lot of love. And so
a lot of love and a lot of light, right?
Yeah, and having to, like, respect and value everyone's, like, unique perspective on their path of love and their path to God. Understanding that it's God's way for them. It's between them and him, and just really being compassionate and understanding that it's an individual thing, but we're all working towards it together, really. And so he just thought that you're one of those people to lead, Granville. Look at that. Even though you wish you would have had it earlier, he brought you here anyways. So, yeah.
I agree. It was in perfect divine order. And it's, it's something related to trusting your intuition. Because, like, we know differently now, but at that time, we were still trusting our intuition. We were always still in our divinity, even if it looked odd on the outside, and we had contrasting experiences, we were still in our divinity.
Yeah, you always had God. He's never left us. It wasn't like, oh, we joined TFU and we found God. Like, that's not how that works. TFU has helped us expand and learn God deeper, understand love deeper. And so I think that's probably like a part of, like, a little bit too. I don't know why this is coming up, but why people have such a resistance with, like, TFU is because we love God and we understand that God is the center and the core of it. And a lot of people are still triggered by that, still triggered by the word of God. And so really just by embracing this work and being who we are and sharing in these types of way, it allows a safe place for people to, like, dip their toes in and start to really get comfortable or get to know a little bit of like what we do here and why we are so in love with this work. And once you become really in love with this work, it's like you just become in love with life, really. You become in love with every opportunity that just kind of comes before you, because you understand the power that you have within you, your divinity. You understand your truth, and you see clearly. You have now released these veils of separation, and really choosing to love in every minute of your life. And that just by us doing that is very powerful, and it'll attract the people that need to attract. And just by layers, as you attract those people will attract those people, and just really just having to be patient and compassionate with the process of how God works in his divine order.
Yeah.
What do you see, guys, about your true divine self? Accept your true divine self, your divinity. What does divinity mean to you in a deeper level?
That's a very good question. A little bit of a mic drop question as well.
That's a great question. What does that mean?
I feel like accepting my divinity means accepting my core truth. It's like, it's accepting my soul design. It's accepting my life purpose. It's accepting that actually in this universe, I am here right now for a reason. And it's accepting in all of that to choose life. Because I sometimes feel we don't know that we don't even know that we're sometimes not even choosing life. But yeah, if I feel into it, that's how I feel about my divinity.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely choosing life, because and I know this is kind of like sidetrack, but I had a friend who just passed, and someone's like, I don't understand why things happen to good people. And it's like, well, somewhere within them, they were choosing separation. They were choosing not to be here. They didn't want to live life. And hopefully they will transcend that for the next lifetime, and that's okay. But it's like on the outside, it looks like we're choosing life, but really we're autopilot and just kind of moving through life instead of choosing the truth in our divinity and choosing, like, we're not just here just to be here. Like, God gave us the opportunity to be here. What did I read? I read procrastination is believing that God's going to give you an opportunity tomorrow to do it. And I was just like, oh damn, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to procrastinate no more. Yeah, so really having to choose to live in that moment, and really just be there with God. I think yeah, sometimes I'm just like not sure where my next move is, and I'm trying to look outside of me, but as soon as I just come to God and just allow myself that silence, it's like more ideas and opportunities can come to me than I could probably try to cultivate in like a week, just because I chose silence with God. And he's always leading us, always giving us the next step. And so I love that you said, like, just choosing life, choosing to just do life with God, and being present in every moment with him. That's really like, that's how you draw in your twin flame, is just being present in every moment with yourself and really accepting all of who you are, at the core, flaws and awe. Like, I've had to really this week really working through self-acceptance of like understanding that my beauty comes from within. It's not just an outside thing. Like, you can look super beautiful on the outside and be a really ugly person on the inside. And so really learning to cultivate that beauty from within and then allowing it to shine from without, and just really accepting myself in that place and loving myself in that place. Yeah. I loved your definition, Granville. It's perfect.
Thank you. Yeah, like I just,
You're welcome.
I felt into it because I was like, that is quite a deep and meaningful question. So the answer's got to go, the answer's like deep, right? The answer needs to be there. What does it mean to you, Renato?
Just thinking things. I have a pattern that I like. I need validations from outside of myself to define who I am, because I'm not sure what my true divine self is. So what people show me is like, okay, I am what people are showing me. So it's like something from the outside to inside, and then I have this pattern of judging myself, like I'm doing something wrong, I'm not doing right. But actually, the true divine self comes from inside out. It's like when you just be present with yourself and you just feel your feelings and you love yourself for who you truly are. You don't care about how you look out the outside. For example, I am the divine feminine. I don't care if how I am dressing. Like I'm happy, like who how I am right now. Like my hair, my body. I don't have any problem. Um, and I feel like when you love yourself inside, like from within, you don't care about the outside. And I think, um, yeah, you know what you said was so profound. I'm still processing. Oh, I just love it.
Yeah, the nice thing is that the more you kind of step into your core truth, the less it matters what the outside looks like, but the outside will align to the love that you feel inside.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was
It
gonna
has
say. You're
to,
just gonna attract
because
the
you're
right
like you're
people.
a powerful co-creator in this universe. So how can the outside not align to the beauty that's inside? It's just impossible. And that is the core of your divinity.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
I
just a
think people
matter of
forget
faith.
that just because sometimes your reality doesn't always reflect your inner reality right away. Like there's that transitioning process. There's that process of allowing it to unfold. And I think because it touches back on wanting that confirmation or that recognition on the outside, really being able to give yourself that's something that I've been working deeply, is giving myself the affection and the recognition that I've always wanted as a child, that I kept seeking. And the more that I've done that, the more that it's just like, you're right, the outside, it really doesn't matter. Like just like learning to really fully accept all of you and who you are, is really such a powerful blessing, to be able to just let go of all of the egotistic nonsense that goes on, or the fears or the words that are said. I know like 3 years ago, I would have never walked out of my house without makeup. Like that's how insecure I was about myself and not being able to accept myself. But once I really grounded this work, I was like, God thinks I'm gorgeous. Like, who cares if I have lipstick on or not? Like, I'm going. Like, I'm good. What anyone says, I know I'm good. God knows I'm good. My man thinks I'm good. That's all that matters. Like, as long as I love myself here, that's all that matters. Like, I'm never going to see that person again. And yet we put so much time and effort of what other people think, instead of really coming back to our divinity and understanding that God created our mind for us. And that's one of my favorite things about the sermons, and then they talk about keeping our mind pure in a sanctuary. And once I heard that, I was just like, wow, like I need to really purify my sanctuary up here, because it's not too pure. It's not always kind. And really claiming the Christ consciousness. And a lot of times when we do claim Christ consciousness, we're kind of I don't know how to say this in a different way, but we're kind of the odd one out because not everyone can align to that, and it's off for them. But you start to realize the people that you do attract, because they're like, subconsciously they do want Christ consciousness. Subconsciously everyone wants Christ consciousness, really, but there's those who are choosing to open their consciousness to it, and then they will be drawn to you as you choose to embody that and embrace that. And so, yeah, that's just really it really comes to self-love and self-acceptance. And I know there's a lot of people who fight with, like, they're angry with the way that God created them, or putting them in a masculine body when they're feminine energy or whatever. But it's like, everything that God creates is perfection. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. Because that's all God creates, is love and perfection. And so really having to see myself in God's eyes has changed the way that I view the world, and how I let the world, or how I think I let the world view me. I don't care how the world views me. They'll figure it out. They'll love me anyways. If I love myself, they'll eventually love me too. It is what it is. Like, and if they don't, they'll go a different direction. It's all good.
That's the thing, right? The minute they stop being a vibrational in vibrational alignment with you, they will vibrate away.
I ain't gotta worry about it.
They really do.
They do. They vibrate
really
away. Like, the misalignment obviously doesn't feel good, and as long as you're choosing love,
yeah,
if love is in the vibration, those people will gravitate towards you, and they will add to the love. They are not your source of love.
absolutely.
And it feels so much healthier and so much more peaceful.
Because you naturally let go of the attachment of people that don't serve your journey anymore. You just don't need them. You feel like, oh, I don't want those companies anymore because it doesn't serve me.
Mm-hmm. And they're just naturally helping you love yourself deeper there. Like, you, Jeff and Shaleia always talk about, like, you can't transcend something until you love it unconditionally. And so they're just helping you love deeper. And a lot of people get really upset when they're triggered by someone, or like the triggering happens. And I've had to learn, like, when I'm triggered, I'm like, oh, okay, I get to go deeper love here. There's a lesson here. And it's like, do I bring an attachment of, like, hurt or pain or upset that I have to learn this lesson? Or do I bring the energy of, I'm learning, and I choose to be patient with myself on this journey, and I get to transcend this lesson here, so that I don't have to go through it again. And so it's really just your consciousness and your mindset, and having to come from, I was gonna say, what would Jeff do? What would Jesus do?
That's brilliant.
Same thing. It's the same thing. So it's all good.
Like as you said, there was a class where Chrissy was quite upset with the person that she was reporting to, and Jeff kept on saying to her, "Do you realize that he's giving you a gift? He's inviting you into deeper love. Do you see this?"
She was like, "Why is he doing this?" She's like, "I don't know." And he's like, "Why is he doing it?" Because he loves me. He's like, "Yep, exactly." It's like, does he really love me? He's making me so angry, and I have to do it. But that's really, it's like, because we have this work, we get to see the truth that love is everything. It doesn't matter what's happening. Love is always is going to be at the core. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, even though there's like an upset and there's anger, it's like, because we have this work, once we work through it, you just get to the other side of love. That's only just love. And so we have to release these thought processes, or this ego telling you that it's just here to harm you. It's here to create chaos and make life hell. And it's like, no, it's here for me to heal, transcend, and move forward, so that I can be a teacher and a coach and teach other people how to do that. And that way we can live in a harmonious, peaceful world where people are in their harmonious union with their twin flame.
Yeah. And just for anybody that's watching this, and anybody that will watch this, the best thing you can do for yourself is to invest in Twin Flame Ascension School.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I was so resistant. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's the best thing that you can do for yourself.
I had signed up once, and I could not, and I knew I was going to talk about this one day. I could not get through a class because I was so triggered by Jeff. I was like, I cannot stand this man. I cannot do this. And then I realized I had an upset around the divine masculine. And so these classes helped me work through my upset around the divine masculine, and invested in a coach with Keely and Colby. Colby helped me work through it even deeper. And then all of a sudden, it was like, Jeff just became like the funniest person to me. And I love class. I get through classes like no other. And I was like, if I would have let this block of Jeff driving me crazy stop me from moving through, I would not be in union with my man. But because this work is like, no, we're gonna kind of poke at all these little places where you don't have love, or you're not seeing the love, so that we can bring love there, and you get to have everything. And so yeah, TFAS, I love it so much. It was like, I've invested in so many courses, and this is by far my favorite course that I've ever invested in. Like any work from Jeff and Shaleia is like, it's gold. It's gold, y'all. Like,
you know, I must tell you, in the beginning, when I watched some of those TFAS classes, I was like, oh my God, this guy.
drives you crazy at first. Yeah, but now I'm just like, Jeff is the funniest thing. It's like, he's so real. He's like, he's himself. It's what it is. It's like it's when you're not being yourself, when you're choosing to not step into your divinity, those who are in their divinity trigger you because they're choosing to be their authentic self. And you're just like, hey, I don't want that. Really, you do. So yeah. If you want to learn how to become your most authentic self, do TFAS.
I'd like to share my first experience with Jeff and Shaleia. I started to experience the separation thing on my journey last year in between April and May. And then I was researching crazy things on internet, run a chaser, and then how to fix your relationship, this type of thing. And this year, when I joined the community in April, I think it was in April, I had this upset within myself, like, why did not I saw like the Jeff and Shaleia before? Like, I should have met Jeff and Shaleia last year and the Twin Flames universe, because I would not be going on circles for like a year on my journey. But then I just remembered that I actually watched Jeff and Shaleia. I had this memory like a month ago. Jeff and Shaleia, I watched a video of them like in June or July of last year, but I found them too peaceful. like they were saying nice things, like the truth, but I was like, no, it's not. It's not.
It feels
what I said to myself,
authentic to be so peaceful. I went through the same thing. I was like, there's no way people can be this peaceful.
Yeah, BS. But guys, you laugh because for me it was like, they are not powerful enough. Because
so you thought that the peace meant there was no power there.
Yeah, like I cannot be with my twin flame. I cannot. They'll not be able to help me, because this journey is so hard. It's so intense. So I need something intense to help my journey.
That's when one of the things that has triggered the most is when you talk to any harmonious union couple and they're like, harmonious union is so easy. And I'm like, what? Stop. Like, I was so annoyed by their comment about how easy harmonious union is supposed to be. And it's very true. And it's meant to be very easy. But that is just that place and within our lives where we've had to really root out, where we think love is hard, where we think love has to have conditions, where we think all of these things have to happen to be able to be loved or to receive love. And that is not the truth. And that's what Jeff and Shaleia really, really show us and really help us ground, is that we get to have our heaven on earth in the most peaceful, loving, happy way possible. Like, and like 3 years ago, someone would have told me that, I'm like, you're sniffing too much glue or something. Like, I don't know what you're on, but that is not happening. Have you been in a twin flame journey? Like, it's not fun. Exactly. I completely get that. But because of TFAS and choosing elevation, which is our next card, it says you're making a conscious decision to raise your vibration in love. And I knew at that time I was not in the vibration of love. I was very angry. I was very distraught, confused. It felt like everything was just kind of like could go wrong, would go wrong. But once I made the conscious decision to really choose love and choose my harmonious union, God kept leading me back to TFAS, and I kept resisting. Like, it was a long year of resistance, y'all. A long year.
You were resisting your Christ consciousness and the Christ consciousness they were embodying.
Exactly.
And I think that was the bigger trigger, was the Christ consciousness that they just embodied. And
yes.
it felt odd. And I think that's how we started learning and kind of learning to love ourselves and learning to work through those triggers and learning to embrace our spiritual gurus, because they were embodying the Christ consciousness that we were searching for. We just had a very peculiar view of what it should look like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, having to trust the process, having to trust patience. We all work through a huge upset around, is this a cult? Is this whatever? Like, they just want our money, blah, blah, blah. But it's like the work that we get through TFAS, like the information that we receive, y'all, that price.
It's for the whole eternity.
I mean, it doesn't,
because
yeah. Like,
what you heal now will be forever. Next lifetimes is permanent.
Exactly. Yeah. They're completely ahead of their time, but God knew that this time was needed for Jeff and Shaleia. And so, yeah, absolutely. It's like embodying this work, embodying TFAS. Like, it's one of those things where, like, once you really start incorporating it in your life and really doing the mirror exercise and really embodying this work, people are like, what are you doing? Like, there's something different about you. Like, I don't know what it is, but I like it, but there's something different.
I get told I look younger. I get told I look younger all the time. Like, I'm like, sorry, did I look old before? And they're like, no, you look younger. I'm like, okay, so at the age of 43, I get told that I'm 35. So I'm like, yay, let's carry on.
Let's continue with this work. Absolutely.
Just carry on.
Absolutely. And you've seen those before and after pictures. Like, some of the coaches have posted their before and afters. It is true work. When you truly start loving yourself and taking care of yourself in the way that God would take care of you, you're supposed to look this way. You're supposed to look good all the time, not tired and drained. And yeah, no, I completely, at 21, I look like I was closer to 30 than I did 21. But since I've now done this work, I get the same thing. And it's because I'm loving myself from the inside out instead of trying to love myself from the outside, and trying to fix everything from the outside. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And try to fix everything on the outside. It feels so draining.
It feels ugly.
Yeah, that's the best thing about this work. Is like it's because when you start to really ground into this work, all of a sudden it's like, this feels good, this doesn't feel good, this doesn't feel good, do the mirror exercise, let's move back to feeling good. Like, it is so quick because you're grounding this work. Prior to it, you'd be like, oh, I feel bad, and a week later I'm still feeling really bad, and I'm just gonna stay in my bed and just feel bad. Like, that's how I was. Like, oh, my twin flame is not talking to me, or life is sucking, and I'm just gonna sit here and mope because that's what God wants me to do. He wants to punish me, and it's like, no, he gave you the tool, you're just not choosing it. You're not choosing it for you, out of fear, out of ego, out of whatever you want to throw at it. But it's like, if you really desire your ultimate life, your ultimate lover, and to be able to have the choice to live life in the way that you envision it, this work is it. There's no ands, ifs, or but. It is what it is. And so... yeah. So,
you know, there's this awareness, like, this feels good, it doesn't feel good. Feels good. Does it feel good? This is power.
Yeah.
This is the power.
And that's where you get to make the choice to,
I
like,
feel like
I guess,
that
kind
is
of control.
exactly the complete point. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling good. I guess we can finish with our last card, which is virtue. You acknowledge your loving spiritual attributes that encourage others to grow.
Fabulous.
Wow.
I think that's power to end on. Yep.
Absolutely.
Thank you for an epic conversation. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, me too, Sepike.
Thank you.